we are going to discuss the chart that was put forth by Murthy, right?
Yes, sir.
Now the details for that chart I'm just sharing with you. It was the query about marriage. When would the marriage of this female native is likely to happen? Now, I think the chart that he has taken from Subaraoji's book, and the rectified time which has been given, that is incorrect. Now I'll discuss with you why I'm saying it is incorrect. What is the logic behind it? Because whatever rectification time is to be given, that should be on the basis of which we are in a position to explain the event of marriage. And we look at the if we look at the particulars of this chart, which I suppose आप सब ने कास्ट कर लिया होगा, you will find that the particulars, the significations, the suitable position of planets, the transit of the planets, that does not match with this event, which means that the time which has been given is absolutely incorrect. I did discuss this with मूर्ति जी, उनको बोला था मैं कि ये जो टाइम है दिया हुआ ये करेक्ट नहीं है, ये इनकरेक्ट है, and there are many reasons for it. Why I'm saying it is incorrect. Now, similarly, anybody can check it out through this technique whether the given chart and the rectified time period is okay or not. Because the rectified time has to be the one at which we can explain the event. By this particular chart, we are unable to explain the event. Now, I'll just put up this chart. I'll put up this chart and then I'll discuss. So, are you getting the chart? Can everybody see the chart?
Yeah.
Is it
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Is it
Okay.
is it is it visible?
Visible.
Okay, okay. Now, if you look at this particular chart for this female native, the marriage date has been assigned as 31st of December 2017. My point is, why the chart that has been casted at a time of 18-18-35-818 is incorrect. This rectified time is absolutely incorrect. Why I'm saying like that? Now, before I go into the other details, before I actually, you know, without knowing the time of marriage, the date of marriage, let me just analyze and check it out, that which can be the suitable dasha during which the marriage is likely to happen. I suppose that the query by this native was asked on 2010-2011. So 2010-2011 would mean that at that particular time, Mars Dasha is going on. After the Mars Dasha, we are likely to have Rahu Dasha. If I look at Mars and if I look at the significations of Mars, Mars, it is in the star of Venus, it is in the sub of Jupiter and sub of Saturn. Mars itself, if you look at the significations of Mars, Mars itself, you know, Ketu has got PS. Ketu has PS. Ketu is placed in cusp number 7, house number 7, and Ketu, represents Venus and Rahu. Rahu represents Mars and Venus, which means Ketu represents Venus, Rahu, and Mars. In other words, as Ketu has PS and it is placed in seventh cusp, it means that Mars, Venus, and Rahu are also present in the seventh cusp. They are also the virtual sub-sublord of the seventh cusp. Thereby, if you look at Mars, Mars, is two sign lord, third, three star lord, seventh, it is again star lord, nine, it is sign lord, it is positive in sixth cusp, it has a PS, and then since it represents Ketu, it is also present in seventh cusp. So Mars itself, since it has a PS, it is a significator of the seventh cusp. Now this is the cusp that is very important as far as marriage and the event of marriage is concerned. 5, 7, 11 are to be there. So Mars, the planet itself, is placed in 7, gives me a signification of 7, and that too at a very strong level. It is 7th virtual sub-sublord. If you look at Venus, Venus is placed in 5th and 7th because 5th, Venus is sub-sublord of 5th cusp, and through Ketu it is placed in 7th. So Venus represents both 5 and 7. Mars is also representing 7. If I sum up Mars and Venus together, then it gives me 5 sub-sublord and 7 sub-sublord. A pretty strong situation of involvement of 5th and 7th cusp. Now, if I proceed to Jupiter, Jupiter is neither present in 5, nor present in 7, nor present in 11, nor present in 3, nor present in 9. On the contrary, it is present in 10, which means that the involvement, strong involvement of 5 and 7 at the star lord level is not supported by Jupiter at the sublord level. Now, Jupiter does not have a PS. Thereby, just to recheck it, what we do is I will look at the because Jupiter is going to give the result of its star lord, and Jupiter is in moon star. Moon is giving me 5 and 11. In a way, what does it mean? That Jupiter is also capable of giving marriage. But if I strictly follow the cuspal interlake principles, then since Jupiter is neither in 3, nor in 5, nor in 7, nor in 9, nor in 11, the only positive part is that Jupiter is sign lord of first cusp. Being the sign lord of first cusp, it means the self involvement for the marriage, the interest for the marriage by the ascendant himself is involved somewhere. And as such, since Jupiter is there in one positive house, I have to look for its star lord, which is Moon. And Moon is fifth sign lord, 11th star lord, thereby gives me a positive indication that Jupiter is also capable of enacting the event of marriage, though it is very, very weak. Now, let us go to. So, if I look at the promise, involvement of 5 and 7, commitment through 1, and commitment through 5 and level by the star lord of Jupiter, gives me a promise of marriage.
Sir, one
But
point.
yes,
This Jupiter being a sublord,
yeah,
can we take its a stellar status?
yes. See, what is the point here is that
Because you,
sometimes नहीं उसमें that is what I am talking about. अगर जुपिटर को पीएस होता अगर जुपिटर को पीएस होता तो फिर हम जुपिटर की पोजीशन पे फोकस करते. Now Jupiter here is sign lord of first cusp. It is neither in 3 nor in 5 nor in 7 nor in 9 nor in 11. Only one positive cusp, that is 1, which supports the marriage. And another way to cross check whether Jupiter is really giving marriage or not, it is not present in 7. It is in no way related to 7. Even through its star lord, it is related to 5 and 11. Gives me an indication that Mars itself is a very, very weak planet to enact the event of marriage. Now, if I strictly go by the cuspal interlinking rules, then Jupiter itself is neither in 3, nor in 5, nor in 7, nor in 9, nor in 11. I can straight away say the involvement of 5 and 7 at the star level is only committed by first cusp at the commitment level, and final confirmation by Saturn. If you look at Saturn, Saturn is nowhere in 5, Saturn is nowhere in 7, Saturn is only present in 11, and at the same time, Saturn is sixth sub lord, which means that at the sub level, as the sixth cusp is involved, the 12th cusp is involved, 6 and 12 both are involved, indicates that there has to be a delay in the marriage, and Mars itself is incapable of giving the marriage. So, the 1 year which was left, when the query was asked, I can say that Mars itself is a very, very weak Dasha Lord. See, Naiduji, what we are doing here is we are simply talking about the the significations of the Dasha Lord.
yes,
And for an event to happen, the Dasha Lord has to be either positive or it has
yes,
to be neutral, and in no way it should be related to the negative cusp. Now here at the promise level I am getting positive cusp.
Sir.
Mars itself, Mars itself is seventh virtual sub-sublord. Venus is 5 and 7, right? Jupiter is first sign lord. So there is some promise of marriage shown by Mars, but Mars itself is very, very weak. Thereby, it will not be capable of enacting the event of marriage. Now, yes, your question. Somebody was
Sir.
interrupting.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I had a question.
Ji, ji,
Um,
ji.
Slightly offbeat, sir.
हाँ
If
जी.
the latitude, I mean, if the longitude of the place that has been taken
Yeah.
is off by 1 degree,
Yes.
it will
It makes a lot of
immediately,
difference. Yes, it
sir,
makes a lot of difference.
sir, the place is not 8152. The
This
place
is what
is,
has been given by Murthy ji to me. This is, I suppose,
sir,
what is given in the chart.
sir, I just went to Bhadrachalam, that area. I
Uh,
took the Google map, this thing. It is 80
okay.
degrees, 53 minutes, 42 seconds.
80 degrees.
80 degrees.
Okay. Should I change it?
I think so, sir.
80 degrees,
53 minutes
53 minutes.
and 42 seconds.
But see, the point is that whatever data is given in the book, on the basis of which the chart has been enacted, is the one which I have posted, the one
Uh,
which I have written, 81, 81,
so the
52.
moment we change this,
हाँ,
maybe for the given time this may match.
हो सकता है, we can just check it out. And then what about the latitude?
Latitude is 17 degrees. Oh, sahi hai. 40
हाँ,
minutes.
17 degrees, 40 minutes.
40 minutes
40 minutes.
and 4 seconds. We can
This
ignore
is
the seconds because I
okay.
just took a center place of the city.
But this. This will make a lot of difference. Let us check
A
it
lot
out
of
here.
difference it will makes for
Yeah.
the lagna at least.
Ah. But on the whole, the position of the planets is not changing in
Yeah,
the Baba chart. So that
correct.
is almost the same. I suppose only if something is likely to happen, that is only the degree, or maybe
Degree
that is
only
sub
will
sub
change.
lords.
Dasha
Sub
Bhukti will
sub
not change.
sub lords are likely to change.
Correct.
So the dosha bhukti antara sukshma prana may change. Prana may
Minor.
change.
Minor,
Yeah,
yes.
maybe or not. Okay, if we look at this particular chart, then here this is Mars again. We were talking about Mars, and if you look at Mars, Mars is Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. So Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. Jupiter is there in 5, Venus is there in 7, Jupiter is in 5, and Saturn is in 5, Saturn is in 11.
11.
So that it gives marriage.
Yes,
It gives marriage.
correct.
Okay. Now the question is that why marriage has not happened during the Dasha of Mars? What could be the reason for it? The simple answer to this question is if you look at the sublord Jupiter, Jupiter is also sub-sublord of sixth cusp, right? Jupiter
Yes,
is sub-sublord of sixth cusp.
correct.
So involvement of seven at the star level, there is negation by sixth at the sub-sub level.
Yes,
Virtual sub-sublord is involved, and Venus has got PS. Venus itself also involves six. So involvement of six, commitment by six. And let us check at the final confirmation Saturn. Saturn is not there in 6. Okay, Saturn is there in 5 and 11. Saturn is not there in 2. Saturn is not there in 4. Saturn. Okay, Saturn is okay. Saturn is okay. Yes, Saturn is present in 8th cusp. So is since positive in 8 means obstacles, hurdles, delays, right? So then the probable reason marriage has not happened during the dasha of Mars, though Venus signifies 7, Venus signifies 7, at the same time it also signifies 6. Then Jupiter is there in 5, and finally Saturn is there in 5 and 11. 5 and 11. So the only reason that why marriage has not happened during the dasha of Mars is because there is a negation at involvement. Involvement, to chalo, it will not make any difference. There is a negation at the commitment level, and Saturn itself is positive in eighth house.
4
Eighth,
6. It is connecting to 4 6.
yeah, it is connecting forces, right? So that could be the reason why marriage has not happened during the Mars dasha. So the next dasha is Rahu.
Yes,
Rahu dasha is suitable for marriage,
yes,
and if we look at Rahu, Rahu is Venus, Sun, and Rahu. Rahu is seventh sub
yes.
sublord. Rahu itself is Mars and Venus. Venus is also seventh virtual sub sublord. Mars is seventh star lord, seventh virtual sub sublord. And now Venus, through Venus, it is giving me 7, involvement of 7. And Sun here, I suppose, would neither be there in 5, nor it would be in 7, nor it would be in 11, neither it is in 3, nor it is in 1,
Yes.
nor it is in 5, nor it is in 7, nor it is in 9, nor it is in 11.
Sun
On
is
the
not
contrary, it is 6 sub lord,
correct.
right? तो चलो यहाँ पे एक negation है. Sun, the only positive part here is that Sun is present in the star of Moon, and Moon is giving me 5 and 11. That is the only positive part.
Yes.
That is the only positive part. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, then Rahu itself is there in 7, right? So marriage is likely to happen during the dasha of Rahu. So the
Yes.
promise for marriage is there. Now look here. This was one of the question. Naidu ji,
Yes, sir.
आपने अभी पूछा था ये. आप सन देखो यहाँ पर. राहु को पीएस नहीं है.
Uh,
राहु is in Venus star.
yes, sir.
Ketu represents Venus.
Mm.
So Venus is 7th sub-sublord, virtual sub-sublord. Venus is itself not present in 5, not present in 7, not present in 11.
Yes.
It is present in 3. It is present in 3.
Present in
It
6
is not.
also.
It is in 6 also. It is not present in 9. It is
Yeah.
present in 10 also. Right?
Negative
So,
houses.
so negative houses are there. In spite of that, the marriage has happened because it is at the involvement level. Because Venus itself represents Ketu. Thereby, Venus, if I place over here in place of Ketu, it is 7th cusp virtual sub-sublord. Sun here, neither in 1, nor in 3, nor in 5, nor in 7, nor in 9, nor in 11. No positive cusp is there, right? And if I strictly go by the cuspal principles, then involvement at Venus 7 is there. There is no commitment at the sub level. And if there is no commitment at the sub level, what do we say? That this particular dasha is not likely to give the event of marriage. On the contrary, marriage has happened during the dasha of Rahu. Thereby, earlier also, in my earlier lectures also, I have pointed out this thing that sometimes a planet may not be signifying the cusp that we required for the event. Yet, to cross check that planet, whether it is really capable of enacting the event or not, we have to check its star lord. Sun is present in star of moon, and moon is 5 and 11. And since moon is 5 and 11, which means that I am getting a positive signal from sun that it can also enact the event of marriage because sun will give its result through its star lord moon. अब इसमें दो बातें होती हैं नायडू जी.
Yeah.
एक तो राहु का सबलॉर्ड सन है.
Mm.
ओके. तो सबलॉर्ड क्या दे रहा है हमें? सबलॉर्ड क्या सिग्निफिकेशन दे रहा है हमें? नाउ व्हाई आई एम पॉइंटिंग आउट that since here, now what is the important point here is that since sun is not there in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11, thereby the time which has been rectified over here is not correct. यहाँ पे दो प्लेनेट ऐसे हैं, एक जुपिटर है और दूसरा सन है, which at this particular time period they are neither in 5 nor in 7 nor in 11, and these are the only two planets which are not giving significations of 5, 7 and 11. Since they are not giving the significations of 5, 7 and 11, it means that there is something wrong with this time. There is
Sir,
something wrong with this time.
can you interpret like this? Since Jupiter is
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
sublord of Mars, since
Which
Jupiter is
one?
the
Jupiter
sublord
is
of
the
Mars,
sublord of Mars.
Mars,
Okay.
that's a lot. Since Jupiter itself is not signifying the required houses,
Uh,
so the author might have taken the stellar signification of the Jupiter because Jupiter is in the star of
uh,
Moon
uh,
and Jupiter is not
correct.
having positional status.
Correct.
So he has taken the stellar status of Jupiter
G.
And stellar status it signifies the required houses.
Yes, very true. Very true. Now
So
this is a reverse way of checking ki whether it is likely to give the event or not. Now then at the same time, if you look at Jupiter, Jupiter is in moon star and moon
yeah,
is giving me 5 and 11. It is not giving me 7. Thereby I can say that though Jupiter is giving me a positive signal for enacting the marriage, but the planet itself, Mars itself, is very, very weak. Because had Jupiter been related to the seventh cusp, then I would have said that the marriage event is likely to happen in the Dasha of Mars. On the contrary, Jupiter here is in Moon star and Moon is no way related to seventh cusp. It is simply related to fifth and 11th, which means that it can enact the event of marriage, but the planet itself is weak, very weak. Thereby, marriage is not likely to happen in during the dasha of Mars.
Sir, if
no,
we
sir, at
inc-
environment when 7 is there, at commitment level 5 and 11 are sufficient.
नहीं सर, नहीं सर, यहाँ पे क्यों कह रहा हूँ मैं? Why I'm saying like that? Because Jupiter itself is not giving me 5, 7, and 11. Since it is not giving
Exact.
me 5, 7, and 11, thereby by now see Jupiter itself is not giving me 5, 7, 11. First point, it is giving me a positive signal through somebody else, that is Moon, which is giving me 5 and 11.
sir,
That is
Ye-
stellar status.
Yes,
so if we increase 35 seconds to say 36 seconds,
okay.
alternately, basically what
Okay.
I'm saying is
हाँ,
change the seventh cusp sub lord from Rahu to Jupiter.
Jupiter ही बनाना पड़ेगा. Now, Jupiter, unless and until you make it Jupiter, it is not going to help us in any way.
Yes, it will not match.
Yeah, match ही नहीं करेगा. That is what I am pointing out ना.
Hmm.
That is by taking up the time which has been given by Nuti Subba Rao ji. What I am saying is that this time period is not correct. I
Correct.
totally disagree with this. Now he has not given any other data so that we can look at the data and we can rectify the time to the appropriate time period. वो भी नहीं दिया हुआ, and since it is not given, thereby we are left with no option except to simply put down the time period which has been given by him. Now, if you look at this, if I increase it to 36, see what are two important things in this chart. Two important points in this chart is that if on the basis of this time period and on the basis of longitude and latitude which has been given by Nuti Subbarao ji in his chart, then I am having two planets.
Hmm.
The first planet is Jupiter and the second planet is Sun.
Sun.
Both the planets are the one which are neither giving 5 nor 7 nor 11.
Correct.
Jupiter is giving me somehow first it is say Rashi Lord, the sign Lord of first house.
Hmm.
But Sun on the contrary is neither in 1 nor in 3 nor in 5 nor in 7 nor in 9 nor in 11.
Yeah.
See, whichever planet we take into account, why did I take here for Jupiter? I took that it is present in the star of Moon and Moon is giving me 5 and 11, so it is giving me a positive indication. Why did I do that? Because Jupiter was giving me the first house, Jupiter being the sign lord of the first house. First means the ascendant himself, means there is some involvement of a positive house for enacting the event of marriage, and that is why I cross checked it by looking at the stellar status of Jupiter. And Jupiter, since it is in star of Moon, I said yes, it is positive to enact the event of marriage. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
हम क्या करते हैं, जब तक हमें कोई एक पॉजिटिव हाउस ना मिले, unless and until we get one positive house, We cannot take the stellar status of that planet. अब जुपिटर में एक हाउस हमें मिला असेंडेंट का 1, एंड फर्स्ट हाउस इज ए सपोर्टर ऑफ 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. So I cross check by taking the stellar status of Jupiter through Moon, which is giving me 5 and 11. Had Moon not been there in 5, 7, or 11, I would have straight away said that in no way Mars can give the marriage. हाँ जी, ये बात ठीक है? इज इट क्लियर प्लीज? कोई
Yes,
डाउट है
sir.
तो पूछिए, कोई डाउट है तो पूछिए। तो मेरा
But
कहने का मतलब ये है कि कम से कम हमें एक हाउस जरूर चाहिए, ईदर 1 और 3 और 9, तीनों में से एक हाउस होगा तो हम उसका स्टेलर स्टेटस चेक करेंगे, और अगर स्टेलर स्टेटस पॉजिटिव है तो वी कैन से यस,
sir,
इट इज ए
since
वीक प्लैनेट।
we have the date of marriage, can we
या
not backtrack?
we can, that is what I have done. We can, we
Yes.
can. Now look here, the date of marriage is 31st. Let me first of all come over to discuss about this. Now Rahu is giving me marriage. Is
Okay.
there any doubt about it? No doubt at all.
No doubt.
Venus
No
is
doubt.
7. Venus is 7. For
Yes.
the time being, we forget about Sun present in any neither in 1 nor in 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. We see the stellar status of Sun. Sun is in the star of Moon, and since Sun is also in the star of Moon, it is giving me 511. I say okay, it is fine, giving me positive indication of marriage. And Rahu itself, it is 7. Rahu through Ketu is also giving me 7. Rahu through Mars is giving me 7. Rahu through Venus is giving me 7. And then Mars and Venus are neither in 5 nor in 11. Okay, so it is giving me involvement of 7, commitment through 5 and 7, and again final confirmation through 7. 7, 7, and 7. Rahu 7, Mars 7, Venus 7. So is a strong significator of marriage. It means Rahu is capable of giving marriage. Now, if I proceed on to the next planet, then the Bhukti Lord, as per a discussion which we have done many number of times, that any planet can be a Bhukti Lord if it satisfies two conditions. First condition is that it has to be a co-ruler of the seventh cusp. Now, if I look at the co-ruler of the seventh cusp, it is Mercury, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, Venus. Venus, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, Mercury, and Mars. These are
Sir, Rahu represents Venus, sir.
हाँ, वो तो हो गया ना। राहु
हाँ.
को यहाँ रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करेंगे ना, हम तो यहाँ पोजीशन लेंगे ना। वी कैनॉट सब्स्टिट्यूट द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स ओवर हियर इन द कस्पल पोजीशंस। कस्पल पोजीशन में कभी चेंज नहीं करेंगे। हमारा फोकस है केतु। केतु इज व्हाट? केतु इज वीनस एंड राहु। राहु इज व्हाट? मार्स। सो देयरबाय केतु इज व्हाट? मार्स, वीनस एंड राहु। इट मींस in place of Ketu, I can place here Mars, Venus, and Rahu. So Mars is already there, Rahu is already there, Ketu and Venus I need to add. Now it means that the planets which I have the co-ruler of the seventh cusp, they are Mercury, that is one, Mars, that is the second one. Rahu is not the lord of any sign, Ketu is not the lord of any sign, Venus is the third one. So Mercury, Mars, and Venus are the three planets, along with Rahu and Ketu, which are co-ruler of the seventh cusp. Okay. Now here, if I look at the Bhukti Lord, then Rahu can be Bhukti Lord, Mars can be Bhukti Lord, and Venus can be Bhukti Lord. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ketu can be Bhukti Lord, Mercury can be Bhukti Lord. See here, Mercury can be Bhukti Lord, Mars can be Bhukti Lord, Rahu can be Bhukti Lord, Ketu can be Bhukti Lord, Venus can be Bhukti Lord. I can have 5 different Bhukti Lords because they are all co-rulers of the seventh cusp. So Rahu can be there, Mercury can be there, Ketu can be there, Venus
Sir,
can be there, and Mars
Ketu,
can be.
sir, Ketu seems it is strong.
अब केतु अगर होगा तो मैरिज कब होगी? 22 और 24 के बीच में. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
सी पहले तो हम ये सिलेक्ट करेंगे कि कौन सा जो हमारे पास प्लेनेट है, विच प्लेनेट कैन बी ए भुक्ति लॉर्ड. राहु इज देयर, कम्स फर्स्ट इन ऑर्डर. राहु इज वीनस, वीनस इज 7. Sun is in star of moon, moon is 5 and 11. So I have 5, 7 and 11. And Rahu is there in 7. So it satisfies both the conditions, which means that the marriage can happen in the Bhukti of Rahu. Next Bhukti is Mercury. Mercury is moon, which is 511. Sun, it is 511. Marriage cannot happen in the
Cannot happen.
Mercury. Mercury को PS है. Yes, Mercury has PS. So since Mercury has PS, Mercury is 7, Mercury is 11, Mercury is 7 and 11. Okay, Mercury is 7 and 11. Moon is 5 and 11. So you have 5, 7 and 11. It means Mercury, since it is co-ruler of 7 and it is giving me 5, 7 and 11, marriage can happen.
Sir,
Yes.
but
Am I right?
Mercury is in Sun sub, sir.
हाँ, कोई बात नहीं. सन का तो हम ले लेंगे ना. जब हमने सन यहाँ पे लिया है, राहु के केस में हमने सन सब लॉर्ड का स्टार लॉर्ड मून माना है, तो यहाँ भी स्टार लॉर्ड मून लेना पड़ेगा ना, स्टेलर स्टेटस देना पड़ेगा. मून मून कॉमन हो जाएगा ना.
Yes, sir.
मून मून कॉमन हो जाएगा तो सैटर्न वीनस हो जाएगा. सैटर्न देखोगे अगर आप, सी हियर, सन का अगर स्टेलर स्टेटस लेंगे तो मून लेना पड़ेगा ना, स्टार लॉर्ड.
Correct, sir.
करेक्ट. तो मरकरी ऑल्सो क्वालिफाइज. अब प्रॉब्लम क्या है, राहु लेंगे तो मैरिज 2015, यानी कब हो जाना चाहिए मैरिज? मैरिज जो है हमारे पास 2012 और 2015 के बीच में हो जानी चाहिए.
हो जानी चाहिए.
यानी बिफोर 4/3/2015 the marriage should have happened.
Yes.
On the contrary, the marriage is happening on 31st of December 2017.
Correct.
ओके, चलो अब इस पॉइंट को हम छोड़ दें. ये तो हमारा पहला आर्गुमेंट था. दूसरा आर्गुमेंट ले, सन इज इन द स्टार ऑफ मून, मून इज नॉट ए co-ruler of 7. Moon is in the star of Venus, Venus is a co-ruler of 7. Okay, so it means moon can also act as Bhukti Lord. Then next is Mars, is again in the star of Venus, Venus is a co-ruler of 7. So Mars can also act as Bhukti Lord. Then Mercury is in star of Moon, Moon is 511. It is not a co-ruler of 7, thereby it cannot be a Bhukti Lord. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes.
Now again Venus is in the star of Venus, तो क्लब हो जाएंगे दोनों. It is in the star of
Sir,
Rahu, Rahu is
sir,
7th ruler.
sir, Kapil ji,
हाँ जी,
one of the person Nagmalesro is requested to come, sir.
मैंने ज्वाइन करवा दिया सबको.
Sir?
मैंने सबको ज्वाइन करवा दिया.
ఓకే
Okay,
ఏమంటే ఎలా చేశారట
okay, okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay जी, okay. अब इसमें देखो आप, अब राहु, तो मैं ये डिस्कस कर रहा था. नाउ वी विल सेलेक्ट द प्लैनेट्स whose star lords are co-rulers of 7. Rahu is there, Ketu can be selected. Venus, Rahu is there, Venus in the Venus star, it can be selected. Venus is in Venus star or it is in Rahu star, it can be selected. Mars can be selected. Moon can be selected. Now, if I look at Mars, Moon, Venus, Ketu, Mercury, then in no way Jupiter and Saturn are involved. Thereby, the marriage either has to happen in 2015 or it should happen after 2020. Am I right? मैं repeat करूं क्या? Should I repeat again? Is my point clear? Aji, should I repeat again? Hello?
Sir, Jupiter is getting the status to give the marriage, right, sir?
How? Jupiter is not a co-ruler of 7.
That is the problem, sir.
Number 1. Number 2, if you look at Jupiter, Jupiter is moon 5 and 11.
Correct.
Rahu is 7. So it is 5, 7, 11. Satisfies the second condition. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the first condition is not satisfied. Because any planet can be a Bhukti Lord only if it is a co-ruler of 7 or it is placed in a star which is a co-ruler of 7. These are two fundamental conditions which are very, very important. If you need to identify Bhukti Lord, these two conditions are very, very important. First, co-ruler of 7, and if itself is not a co-ruler of 7, then it should be present in a star which is a co-ruler of 7.
So that means
Either of these two conditions have to be fulfilled.
So
This is the first condition.
Jupiter should be co-ruler of the 7. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
Yes. Or
Lagna,
Jupiter should be placed in
why
a star which is a co-ruler of 7.
that is okay, sir. By the open cusp setting, why do you keep the Jupiter as a sub lord in the 7th cusp? By the open cusp.
That we will do it. We are not, for the
Sir.
time being, we are not changing the time. That we will do it later on. My point is that if we strictly go by cuspal rules, and if we strictly go by the time which is the rectified time that has been given by the author, then what is the problem I am getting here is in no way Jupiter and Saturn are becoming the Bhukti Lords. And since they are not the Bhukti Lords, the marriage has occurred in a period that belongs to Saturn. It has happened in a period during the Bhukti of Saturn. Now, how to justify Saturn itself is in 8th cusp. Saturn is only giving me 11 and 5. It is in no way related to 7. Saturn is in the star of Jupiter and Jupiter is nowhere related to 7. Is this point clear? इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? By looking at this, what indications we are getting? That to make Jupiter as a Bhukti Lord or to make Saturn as a Bhukti Lord, I have to adjust either Saturn or Jupiter as the Bhukti Lord, as the 7th cusp rulers, and at the same time, I need to focus on the ascendant sub Lord, which should strictly match with Venus.
that will set, sir. Jupiter is in moon star, so it will
Yes.
set correctly.
Yes.
We simply have to change 7th cusp sublord from Jupiter to Jupiter.
Yes, we have
Sub.
to do it. See, we need to make two adjustments in this. First is that Jupiter, now the second way, why do we say that Jupiter has to be there? Say, if I just look at the Dasha Bhukti, Antra, Sukshma and Prana for the event of marriage that has happened on 31st of December 2017.
Yes.
Saturn is Bhukti Lord and Saturn is Antra Lord. It
Sukshma Lord
means
is Jupiter.
Saturn should be very strongly linked to 5th, 7th, and 11th cusp.
Correct.
That is one point. Right?
Yes, sir. Sukshma
And
Lord
then
also should be strong. Jupiter.
and then Sukshma Lord is Jupiter.
Must be
For
actually.
it should be present in 7th.
Yes.
Right? So then I need to adjust both of these.
करेक्ट सर
This
पहले
is
जुपिटर कर दीजिए सर.
नहीं, उससे होगा नहीं, बहुत टाइम पीछे करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं
मैं
सर
अभी टाइम
ओनली
डालूंगा तो वो हो जाएगा, बहुत टाइम
नहीं
पीछे डालना पड़ेगा.
सर ओनली जुपिटर करके देखिए सर.
ओनली जुपिटर करेंगे हम तो पीछे मूव करना पड़ेगा या आगे मूव करेंगे 7th में. ओके,
सर
अभी कर
18
लेते हैं. चलो 7th
18
कस्प में,
हाँ
7th कस्प में
Yes, sir.
we move to Jupiter. It is 18, 19, 17. So Jupiter
Yes.
sub-lord, okay, that is fine. Jupiter as a 7th cusp sub-lord, it is okay.
Yes, sir.
Sun here,
सैटर्न
sun
चेक
is,
कर.
sun चेक करें ना पहले, sun भी चाहिए ना हमें.
हाँ
sun 5 में नहीं है, sun 7 में नहीं है, sun अभी भी 11 में नहीं है. ओके, चलो sun को छोड़ दो. Now let us check Saturn.
सैटर्न
Saturn is in the star of Jupiter. Saturn has got PS. Saturn is there in 5 and 11. Saturn is in the star of Jupiter. Jupiter is 7. Okay. Rahu is 7. Rahu is 5. Rahu is 7. And then Rahu is not present in 11. Okay. So then Rahu and Mercury. Mercury is there in 7.
No.
तो ये condition satisfy करेगा.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this will satisfy the conditions.
यस
So Jupiter, Saturn is a Bhukti Lord. Saturn itself is 5 and 11. It is present in star of Jupiter, which is 5, 7.
Yeah.
So 5, 7, and 11, all the three are involved
Yes, sir.
at the involvement level.
No.
Rahu is there in 7. And then Mercury is also there in 7.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right?
No.
Mercury is also there in 7. So Saturn satisfies the condition of being a Bhukti Lord.
Yes, sir.
हो गया ये.
हाँ.
अब अंतरा लॉर्ड देखें तो अंतरा लॉर्ड भुक्ति लॉर्ड सैटर्न बना है, तो सैटर्न को क्या चाहिए अंतरा लॉर्ड के लिए हमें 5, 7, 11. तो सैटर्न शुड बी ए को-रूलर ऑफ 7th cusp.
Yes, sir.
अंतरा लॉर्ड के लिए सैटर्न शुड बी ए को-रूलर ऑफ 7th cusp प्लस should be present in one or both the supporting cusp. Now Saturn here is not present in 7. Saturn is present in 5 and 11. So it does not fulfill the first condition of being the co-ruler of 7.
Yes, sir.
Saturn star lord is in 7.
No, sir. A 7th
नहीं, sir.
Saturn is not a co-ruler of the 7. That is the
Yes,
main problem.
main problem is.
That is the main
No,
problem.
if itself need not be, it's a star lord can be.
No, sir. No.
No.
No,
You
sir.
told me that planet.
Say, look here. Dasha Lord has to be positive or neutral. Bhukti Lord has to be a co-ruler of 7. Or it should be present in a star which is a co-ruler of 7. And it should give me a promise of 5, 7, and 11.
Yes, sir.
And Antara Lord is to be repeated if the same planet is giving a promise of 5, 7, and 11. Right? Saturn has to give me a promise of 5, 7, and 11. Saturn through Jupiter is giving me 5 and 7. And Rahu is giving me 7. Look here.
won't set sir.
But sir, a Saturn is not at all co-ruler of the 7, sir.
Saturn is not connected at all sir.
हाँ, वही तो कह रहा हूँ मैं फिर भी दूसरी साइड से ले रहा हूँ कि अगर हम सैटर्न को फॉर द टाइमिंग वी फॉरगेट इट हैज ए से द पोजिशनल स्टेटस. Saturn is in Jupiter star. Jupiter is 7, 5 and 7. Okay. Rahu. Rahu is 5, 7. Rahu is 7.
Yes,
And
sir.
then Mercury. Mercury is also 7. Now 11 is altogether missing. Saturn is not giving me a promise of 5, 7 and 11. Saturn through Jupiter is giving me 5 and 7, and through Rahu it is again giving me 5 and 7. Rahu is Mars, fifth sub-lord.
Sir,
Rahu in 7, right? Rahu is Mars is not there in 7, 11. Venus is not there in 11.
Yes, sir.
देखो मैं फिर रिपीट करता
sir,
हूँ.
only stellar status say it is connecting, sir, because Saturn is present in Jupiter star.
Okay, done. Jupiter
Jupiter
is
is
5 and 7.
yes.
Then what? Then promise has to be for 5, 7 and 11.
11 is there, sir, in the 11th cusp. If you notice, sub position and sub position Saturn
सैटर्न
is
है ना
there.
वो.
हाँ sir,
सैटर्न है ना. सैटर्न है ना.
Saturn ही देख रहे
अच्छा
हैं ना
ठीक
sir.
है, सैटर्न को पीएस है यहाँ पे. तो हम
Correct.
जुपिटर पे फोकस ही नहीं करते ना, सैटर्न पे फोकस करते हैं.
Saturn पे ही
सैटर्न इज
focus.
सैटर्न इज 5, 11 and Rahu is 7. So
Correct.
it fulfills the condition of 5, 7 and 11. Only one
Absolutely.
condition is it not fulfilling. And
Sun
that
is
condition,
The
that
corolla.
condition is it is not a co-ruler of 7. That's all.
Yes, yes, yes.
That is
yes.
the only one condition it is not fulfilling. Anyhow, we
Yes.
select Saturn as the Yantra Lord. No problem.
Hmm.
No problem in selecting
Sorry.
Saturn as the Yantra
Sir,
Lord because it is giving me a
you need
promise
not
of.
worry. You need not worry about the corolla.
हाँ कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि यहाँ पे सैटर्न जो है अगर आप देखोगे तो सैटर्न जो है वो हमारे पास 5, 11 में है. मेन कंडीशन क्या है हमारे पास? को रूलर होना चाहिए, प्रॉमिस होना चाहिए, स्ट्रॉन्ग सिग्निफिकेटर होना चाहिए. 3 कंडीशंस हैं.
That is okay, sir. You are bypassing the corolla.
हाँ कोई बात नहीं, चलेगा यहाँ पर, चलेगा
हाँ.
चलेगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई
Okay.
दिक्कत नहीं है,
Okay.
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ऐसी कंडीशंस मॉडिफाई, सी इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन केस टू केस. यू कैन मॉडिफाई, वी कैन अज्यूम कि चलो दिस इज ओके, राइट?
Rahu, Saturn, Jupiter are playing roles, sir.
Yes. And now take the case of Jupiter. Jupiter Sukshma. Jupiter is there in 7, 5 and 7. Jupiter has got no PS.
Yes, sir.
Thereby we have to focus only on Moon, Rahu and Venus.
Correct.
Moon 5 and 11, right?
Yes.
Moon 5 and 11. Rahu is 7, 5 and 7.
Yes.
And Venus is 7.
Venus is 7.
Venus is 7. So the first condition for Jupiter to be the Sukshma Lord is it is a co-ruler, it should be co-ruler of 7. Condition
Yes.
fulfilled.
Yes, sir.
Second condition is it should give me a promise of 5, 7 and 11. And Jupiter through Moon is giving 5, 11. Through Rahu it is giving 5, 7. So it is fulfilling the promise of 5, 7 and 11. Right?
Yes, sir.
ठीक हो गया ये? और
Yes.
उसके बाद तीसरी कंडीशन है it should be strong significator of 7. So Moon is 5, Rahu is 7 and Venus is 7.
Correct.
Right? So it again satisfies the condition. तो ये भी okay हो गया. And then comes the Prana Lord. If you look at the Prana Lord, तो Prana Lord की पहली condition ही है कि इसको 7th का co-ruler होना चाहिए. Second condition है कि supporting cusp भी होने चाहिए. तीसरी कंडीशन है 5, 7, 11 का प्रॉमिस होना चाहिए. और लास्ट कंडीशन है स्ट्रॉन्ग सिग्निफिकेटर होना चाहिए.
यहाँ फेल हो रहा है सर.
ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे अगर लेके चलेंगे हम तो जुपिटर प्राणा, जुपिटर 7 का कोरूलर है.
Yes.
जुपिटर 5, 7 और 11 का सिग्निफिकेशन दे रहा है. ओके.
Yes, sir.
जुपिटर जो है अगर मून को देखेंगे, राहु को देखेंगे अगर हम, तो राहु जो है मार्स के थ्रू 6 दे रहा है स्ट्रांगली. ओके.
हाँ यस
और
सर
वीनस वो भी 6 दे रहा है स्टार लॉर्ड लेवल पे। तो 6 से कंफर्मेशन और 6 की फाइनल कमिटमेंट। तो जुपिटर के प्राणा में मैरिज नहीं होगी, डिले हो जाएगी।
ठीक है।
ठीक हो गया।
नेक्स्ट सैटर्न।
नेक्स्ट सैटर्न, जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट, आई विल बी बैक। मैं 1 मिनट में वापस आता हूँ, किसी ने रिंग किया है। आई विल जस्ट बी बैक इन अ मिनट, राइट।
इंटरनल टेबल